Chapter 6. Maybe the truth. We have visitor. Of who? I asked. She didn't answer, but bent her head to the side and closed the door after Paige, my daughter, and the kids. I took off my shoe, gave my jacket and bag to the maid, walked towards the living room and looked at them. They turned around and looked at me. It was David, his wife, Sandra, my parents, Leon, his father, and the lady we met in the office. Okay, now I'm getting pissed off. It started to get a bit too far, so how far are they willing to go? I asked myself, as I took a look at Paige and gave her a sign to stop. Paige whispered to my daughter, don't know what she is telling her, but my daughter quick took shortcut up to her room. Paige gave her jacket and a vest to the maid, telling her that children to take the children outside the garden so that they cannot hear what's going on here. Tried to keep my cool down while the children goes to the garden. When all the children are gone, Paige locked the doors and sent all the maids out with the children so there's someone to look after them. I'm leaning against the couch in front of me and trying to calm myself down. I'm feeling that something is approaching me. Can feel in my neck the breathing of whosoever is here. Bending over to see who it was. Of course, my father, who's not going to pretend to be the best father of the year who cares about these children. I noticed the gun that was lying on the side of his hip. I took the gun as I was pushing my father backward. It was charged. Could you feel the weight of the gun when it's bullying the magazine? But luckily I did put on the impression. I'm not actually that stupid. Put backward as I made it to them. Everyone looked so scared. Stood up and tried to calm myself down with the hands in the air. Jayleen, please put down the weapon. Please, said David as he calmly come towards me. Shut up, everyone. Shut up. I was horrified. Paige is looking at Leon and giving him some sign. Not sure exactly what, but Leon nodded his head, walked behind his father and followed to the side to the end of the room. Naturally noticing, but it was kind of difficult to keep focus on what Leon was doing, and at the same time keeping my eye for the rest of them. So I kept going backward without looking, but going slowly enough. Paige is looking at me and walked towards me as if looking at my dad. I'm begging you. I know exactly what you're thinking, but please put down the weapon so that we can calmly talk, Paige says in a rather bright and relaxing voice that makes me feel calm in my body, but still managed to fight off. As I was being whipped, I felt stabbed in my throat. Felt that I was completely blank in my head or my mind. My vision getting smaller. I see blurry. My breathing is calmer and slower than normal. Almost feels like I'm slowly passing out. Paige takes the weapon out of my hand as I'm trying to hold it tight to myself. Someone behind me is holding my arm so that I cannot move. Slowly moving my head backward to see who was holding me. It was Liam. The next thing I know, the trigger is on and the shot goes on, and I'm unconscious, lying on the floor. I'm hearing some noises, people screaming, and my name being repeated over and over again. Everything felt so hazy to me. Even though I had my eyes open, it didn't feel like it. That's the last thing I remember. Later. Don't know how long it has been, but it feels forever. Slowly open my eye, noticing that it's much quieter than what I heard last time. Hearing some children running around, although talking, not disturbing at all. Quieter alright with balanced noises. Trying to look around the room, but feel several headaches that I have as I bend my head around. I've been shot. Felt the pain as soon as I sat up. But thank God it went through, and it's not into bleeding, as long as I can see. Now I do understand why the children is running around. I am in the guest room, which was in the same floor as the living room. Thank God that Paige didn't bring me up instead. Better to keep our secrets between those who live here for time being. Oh, thank God you are okay, said Sandra as she walked towards me. She sat down and touched my arm. I felt it, but took her arm away and didn't answer back. I also took the blanket away from me, put my foot down, and trying to sit up despite the pain. Sandra tried to move to the side so that I could sit down properly and more comfortable. I felt that no matter how pissed I am, I really need to calm myself down because I'm doing something that is going to hurt me, and at the same time my daughter's here. At least she's not in the room, thank God for that. But she must have heard the shot. And for now, I got enough things to take care of. Okay, what are you doing here? I asked. Everyone is looking at each other as if they don't know how to answer. Of course, would they expect to come to me without any notice and at once hoping that I will take them all with open arms? Paige is looking at me, touching my head, and looking at my parents and David. What about you all go to the living room, get something to drink while you're giving her a break, and we will be down soon, Paige says. She walked towards the door, opened it, and showed the way while calling the maid. While they were dealing with that, I just got up, put on some hoods that was in on the bed to cover up the injury and the blood that I had on my sweat. Didn't want to scare away the children and my daughter, thinking that I'm going to them or actually heading to them. I walked out of the room, past Paige, walked slowly downstairs, through the living room, and out towards the garden. Opened up the door and see the maid coming towards me and help me out. Are you okay? We heard a shot, she asked while looking at me as we walked. One day, hopefully, this whole thing will be over. I'm sure of it, I said. At the end of my garden, it is a big house that's about to be coming forward in a few weeks, but hopefully before then. It's something that I wanted for a long time. It's actually the best thing that I both managed and am proud of. Ever since I was little, I always have thought of what will happen to those children that are not being really good take care of. What will happen to them once they be sent to the system, and who knows. Even though I haven't get along well with my family, I'm a bit grateful that I still have them though. But ever since I thought of it, I wanted to wait until I was older and had a clue about it. A few years later, I established an urgent for those who needed home and support through their upbringing, and here we are. A short while later, when me and Paige are welcoming over 700 children each year. So you can imagine that we have a lot of things to do, both at home and the office. It goes without saying that we do more, but that is a story for another time. Maid is looking at me. She was trying to say something. She started off with what? Without finishing her sentence, but I did understood what she was trying to tell me. It's going well, but what about the children? How has it been today? I asked. Just good. They have been feeding, playing for a while. Some of them are out of school, but on the way now. But do you want them to come here or straight home? No, not tonight. You're quite aware that we do have visitor here, or people here, I said while looking at her. But you can send them in. It's getting late for them anyways. And you guys going on a trip early tomorrow, so it's quite important to sleep quite early, I said as I got up. As much as I needed some rest, and I know that I needed some rest, I had to move as much as possible. She walked towards the children. It took them to the house behind me. I still wanted to enjoy the nice weather and the delicious fresh air, but unfortunately it was some people waiting for me. So I went towards the house, left the door open to let some air enter too, walked towards the living room and see all of them turn their backs, except for my mom, Leon, and his father, who was looking at me with their eyes wide open, like they were really worried about me. Of course I noticed it, but I'm not saying anything, and just walked towards the end of the sofa and leaned forward. Before any of them could say something, I just started the conversation, quick as possible. The quicker the better. What are you doing here? I asked as I made eye contact with each one of them. It almost like I'm seeing through the souls, but I had to. It was not directly a question, it was just an open question. My father stood up and I'm looking at him. Did I ask you to stand up? I asked. He sat down. I thought so. Now, can any one of you guys speak already or talk already? I asked again. Felt like I was this close to be irritated. Everyone just sat down and looking at each other as if no one is asking them about anything. But now I think things are about to be interesting. We are all here to lay out the cards on the table. Time to chew and all the stuff, he said. What kind of other stuff are we talking about? Primarily, why are you casting us as if we are unknown? So what are you to me then? I asked. My mom stood up. Your family, whether if you like it or not, she said. Who left me until you needed something from me, right? They're looking at each other. Okay, so what do you want to know? Haha, you guys are so ridiculous. Do you really think that I'm going to pretend nothing happened just because you're all going to tell me more lies? I said, gave some room before I continued to speak. But there's one thing I'm curious about though, I said as I looked at Leon's father. He leaned forward and looked at me. What planning and contract wedding in such a short time? Even though your son doesn't say so, we both are strangers who will do something completely unusual. Leon got quick up, walked towards me and put my arm closer to him. You're not allowed to talk to my father like that. Let go, it hurts, I said as I looked at his arm. It actually hurts. Even though he heard it, he continued to squeeze my arm more and more and more. Seconds later, he let go and went back up. Didn't understand what has become of him. We have been acting as if this whole thing is alright, but I'm noticing that he's a bit bothered by it. I don't know. It's a mixed feeling with him anyways. Leon was looking at me, apologizing as he turned around and touched my face. I took his hand down. I asked him to sit down. His father stood up. This is not the first time we are meeting at this. A story about a contract that came really silent. We'll start all over again and take it easy, he said. I didn't answer him back and looked away, because I know this whole thing is full of crap anyways. So now it's your turn, I said, making eye contact with my mom. She looked at me and smiling. I swear to God, I hate it so much when she's trying to fake it and pretend she's nice. Pretend nothing has happened. But anyways, now it's my turn and set the record straight as well. I'm starting to feel that my hips hurts from the injury. I lean against the chair to sit down, breathe deeply. I'm trying to take a few seconds before things escalate. So, tell me, where have you been this whole time? All those years? Where have you been? If I'm telling you the truth, will you promise to stop hating me then? Well, depending on what's coming out of your mouth. If it is true or if it is shit. Your brother is alive. We have little time. If he doesn't get the treatment he needs. Mom, and you expected me to believe that. I'm telling you the truth. What do you think? Do you think she's telling the truth? Or she's lying? Her brother, who she always thought he died. What if it's actually true? Well, it's one way to find out. Stay tuned for chapter 7.